So like, so then tell me, like, when you watch the Dark Side of the Ring, how is that for you? It's like, you know, like you got to see all your friends right there because of you got to hang out with Jericho. Also, I know that Jericho, like the way he presents himself, he looks like a hell of a guy. You know, I don't know.
Jericho's great, man.
You know, like he's a guy that
we have
like
a
you want to
history.
have fun with. Like he seems like a really cool person, and you know, very honest, very, you know, well-rounded
Yeah,
person.
yeah, he really is. I've known Chris since way back in like Smoky Mountain Wrestling with him and Lance Storm with Thrill Seekers, right? And I was doing the Robbie Eagle thing.
Yeah,
When I looked like Baby Steiner with the medals and
yeah,
jacket. He
Ricky,
used to call
yeah.
me Baby Steiner. Like, we used to make ribs on each other. You know, he would call me like, "Yeah, remember back when Smoky Mountain you were little Baby Steiner, the medals, Robbie Eagle?" And like, "Yeah, I remember you and Lance Storm hanging out with the teeny boppers being the Thrill Seekers, right?" And he's like, he turns out red, like, "Shut up, that's not funny." I remember his one of his old emails used to have Mongoose McQueen after his alter ego for Fozzy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But Chris has always been cool, and he was there. Matter of fact, he was there that night that Jim Cornette cut the promo on the Dairy Queen lady at drive-through. Chris was there, you know, egging it on. You know, I would take that, Jimmy, laughing at the backstage. But yeah, Jericho always has been an amazing personality, and what he's done for the business is just incredible, and they're still going strong. And you know, I was with him at WCW as well, and just all around. Matter of fact, we used to take bets like who can act the goofiest on Nitro, right? He do this cheap trick on his hair. I want you to want me, right? Bit, and
That's a great
I do the whole
song.
Mozart thing with my hair,
Yeah.
with the wand, conducting wand, and everything. And our theory was the more outrageous we can do our personas, the more the office couldn't like want to kill us off because we're afraid to make anything entertaining, right? But Chris, I'm so happy for him, man. Um, this is he's always, you know, even though he's very entertaining, he's always honest, straightforward, and I've been enjoying his commentary, Giovanni, here late recently in AEW Dynamite. I wish they would do it full time because they're like the best team, right? Commentary team in the business today, hands down.
Oh, I definitely think, yeah, like once, you know, a week or two into it, they kind of got adjusted to it. And now I think they gel real well because they bring up the music references, the old school references, like they hit it off. So I could see when his in-ring career's done, definitely doing something like that.
Yeah, it's great. And I think with Jericho, I mean, I think he'll always be involved in the business somehow because you can see the deep love and passion he has for what he does. And you're talking about a guy who's done it all. I mean, he's got Fozzy. He's been a game show host. He's been Dancing with the Stars. He's doing commentary now, and he's still going strong with AEW. So it's amazing. Chris is just an incredible human being, and I'm telling you, the day he steps down from the business, man, it's gonna be a sad day because he will be deeply missed.
Oh, for us, it's like, you know, people like we grew up watching you. We grew up watching Jericho. You know, it's like I just remember me being like 10 years old watching these things, and my mom yelling at me, "What the hell are you watching that crap?" I'm like, "Go away!" It's like it's my own time. But like, see, now you're touching on AEW. For somebody like you that was there on the WCW days, what do you think? Like, there's a lot of people that say like AEW like resembles a lot of what WCW were. Do you agree to that statement or no?
Well, I mean, you got some nostalgia there, you know, with Tony Schiavone being there, Jim Ross, of course, just Jericho, and Dustin Rhodes, and a few others. But I think AEW, you know, it has its own entity, it has its own aura, and you got some great young stars there doing their thing. And Sammy Guevara, I think he's the future. Darby Allin.
Darby's really
Um,
good. Yeah.
look at Lance Archer, man, and Jake Roberts. What a combo.
Oh
Um,
yeah, absolutely. Like it's when he was paired up with the snake, it's like go right there.
Yep, that's like the Rocket main event. Like
Even
there it
right.
is.
even
You got
Jericho
Brody
said it.
Lee,
Even
SCU,
Jericho said it. What else
Christopher
do you want?
Daniels.
You're paired up with the snake. You know, it's like you're
Right.
what else do you want? Just do it.
That's it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Gazarian, Scorpio Sky, who I think is going to be a future star
Yeah.
for the industry for sure, but very talented. Of course, you got Lucha Brothers. I mean, their tag team scene's incredible.
right here,
yeah.
like a big Lucha Brothers fan, right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
And then I honestly couldn't agree more. I feel like people made the comparison because it's like it's a competitor to WWE, and also it's because WCW to me, besides maybe some goofy storylines mixed in here and there, was always about like at their core, it was like let's be actual wrestling. We're not sports entertainment. We're gonna go out here. We're gonna wrestle, and that's what
Right.
AEW does. So I think people go that there's like, well, there's not the goofy entertainment. So this is WCW. It's like, yeah, but you know you're actually watching a sport called pro wrestling, right? So it's like they're going to do the wrestling. So that's where I think people kind of draw the comparisons as well. But, I mean, if those are the basis of their comparisons, then I'm all for it. Because, you know,
Right.
I'm a fan of pro wrestling, not sports entertainment.
I'm a Dr. Baker fan too. I think she's amazing.
Britt Baker has a lot of she has a bright future. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Like the promos that she's been cutting, especially with Tony, like that's that's even like great.
Oh,
How was your relationship with Tony? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, Tony's always been great to me. Yeah, he was always cool, man. Of course, I mentioned Gene Oakland earlier. You know, him, Tony Giovanni was good. Bob Caudle, if you remember Bob Caudle from back in the day, we used to travel together for Smoky Mountain Wrestling because we live in the same state, North Carolina, right? So I used to meet in Raleigh, North Carolina, where he lives, and we take off doing the towns and all that. So because he also worked for the state at the time. So Bob Caudle was like you guys really like Bob. He was like real laid back, really cool. Tony Giovanni is too. And he looks amazing, by the way. I mean, gosh, he looks better than Jim Ross.
Oh yeah, but he looked. And you know what? Like to me, like the fact that they brought it up to AEW was doing some justice to him. You know, because he was away from the business for such a long time. It was like 8 or 10 years that he was away, and then he went back for AEW. I was like, that's doing some justice to this guy. You know, he was all like from the early 80s and stuff, like doing WCW. He was probably the longest, I will say, announcer or like part of the show. And the fact that they were able to bring him back to wrestling is good. I never had an issue with like Tony Giovanni or Giovanni, like Jericho will say.
But Giovanni, Jim Ross, they got Jericho in the mix on their commentary is really strong now.
Excalibur, what you like Excalibur?
Excalibur, yes, very much so. And he brings a different feel, different vibe to it as well. Yeah, so it's really cool. You have Jurassic Express.
Yes.
And Luke Perry's son doing his thing.
Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt.
Yeah, Marco Stunt. Yeah, man. So it's really cool. I'm really excited to see where the carry this thing. Or Santana, of course, and Ortiz.
LAX.
I mentioned them. LAX. That's it.
LAX. Yeah, like it's really cool. So now tell me about you then. Tell me a little bit about it. We touched on this just a few minutes ago. The thing with James Brown. How was that for you?
Oh man, that was great. Oh my God.
Tell me a little bit about this whole thing with James Brown.
Well, it started out as like during the feud with Ernest the Cat Miller, right?
Yes.
He kept saying that James Brown was his close personal friend, and I called him out on it, saying, you're full of crap. You don't know any James Brown. We made a bet to produce James Brown's Super Brawl. If you didn't produce James Brown, you were going to be like my Driving Miss Daisy. Pretty much. And then James Brown made his appearance during Super Brawl. That's when I did the Fred Sanford passing out bit in the ring, and the roof just came off the place when he came out. And I remember earlier that evening meeting James Brown, right? And what a class act dude, man, he was. A really nice guy. We were making fun of Ernest Miller trying to dance like him in the ring, right? And he was cracking up. So.
He wanted to do get up now, get up now.
But he was telling me about how much Gorgeous George influenced him, right? And to hear him give his perspective was really, really, really cool. So,
well, and that tells you, like the how like pro wrestling transcends, the importance, the influence, because a lot of like artists, a lot of people in I will say the media business, TV, they got their acts from professional wrestling. People, people don't
amazing.
See like how important it is. Exactly.
Everything's so intertwined, man. It just fascinates me each and every day to see how one thing leads to another in this life, man. It really does.
Well, yeah, and that's what when he and I are doing the show, when Paul and I do the show, is like everything goes back to wrestling. Everything's wrestling. Every time when we talk to other people, everything goes back to wrestling. And we
Oh
always
yeah.
do the wrestling analogies and everything. But,
And wrestling brought me back to acting too. So it's just like
exactly. So everything like you said is intertwined. So like you leave WCW. So then you just went and like you became the papastro, right? That was like or the new character. How was that for you? Like you felt is the Maestro had his time, so it's time to like give something new.
well, what I did was like during my latter days as the Maestro on WCW, I had like this civil personality where I'd hear bad music and just flip out and go crazy. And which actually there was going to be a pairing of myself at the time with Daphne and Crowbar. We're going to be like this dark clique, if you might say. That almost happened, but it didn't quite go that route, unfortunately. But because I really wanted to work with those guys because I was really good friends with them. But I just took that dark side of the Maestro and just like put some gasoline on the fire, if you will, per se, and kind of brought back my old love for horror movies. Like I just thought back all the movies that scared me as a kid, and so I started developing Papa Stro, which was this dark persona that I do, and I got the doll Dorothy, who was kind of like she represents all the mistreated children in the world that looks to Papa Stro as like an avenging spirit, kind of like the Crow, if you will.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And so like Papa Stro's like this big avenger who avenges all the evil in the world, that sort of thing. And
it's like your
uh,
alter ego, you will say. It's like another like
yeah,
alter ego that you have.
it's
Yeah.
like my whole demeanor changes when I'm in character with this Papa Stro bit, but it's a lot of fun. And I got this whole like YouTube channel, all these scary black and white videos. I got the whole gang with me. I got Bones, who's like my bone dog, House in the Moon, and
Yep. And
almost like make mini movies with it, right? So it's kind of fun.
it will have that in the video description, so everybody, and myself included, we can check it out as soon as you're done
We
watching
will
this
check it
video.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because
absolutely.
that sounds
Because you
cool. I like that stuff. So
you
I'm
have like a
definitely.
little bit like you resemble like Rob Zombie. Like the Fast and the
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Like I can really see that, or like Lemmy from Motorhead. Like the hat and all of that. Like yeah,
I'll just see some pictures, right? With some of the garb, right, from the last Halloween show I did. It had the whole like Rob Zombie look with the Dorothy and everything, and
yeah,
um,
because we will love that, and that takes me to like. So then, what was next in wrestling for you then? Because for example, like you weren't like one of the biggest companies in the world. You pretty much were able to be with like all the big names. You were able to wrestle them. You were able to beat them. So like then, what was next for you after the WCW days? Then you just went, I will say, more in the independent scene, correct?
right, just going back to doing what I was doing before I went WCW. Just in independence wherever I go. Getting back to the acting, doing films, and training, helping people when I can, and just going different avenues in life, doing help stuff with charities and being ambassador for Chamber of Commerce back home, helping with business and just doing different things, seminars, that sort of thing, and just kind of giving back to the community and helping people when I can, and as well as providing entertainment outlets for the acting that I do and everything, and trying to be the best actor I can be. So yeah, just keep my options open because I still keep my options open now, even with the wrestling and everything. And so I mean, the old adage goes, "Never say never," right?
Oh no,
Oh
no.
yeah, exactly. Like you said, you never know. Hey, people were saying, "Oh, Stroh, his school, this and that." Hey, you never know if Cody or Jericho or somebody calls you one day and says, "Hey, we're looking. Hey, you want to come show these kids, some stuff, this or that." Boom, anybody. Like you said, you always got to keep the doors open because you never know.
That's right. That's right. Because I've lived by that motto, and I keep myself in pretty good shape. So it's like I'm just ready for whatever happens in life in the future, that sort of thing. So matter of fact, I even do my DDP yoga, which Dallas has helped so many people. Goes along with good friend Jake Roberts, Scott Hall, Dustin Rhodes, Chris Jericho, who we just talked
Everybody,
about. Yeah,
everybody. We gotta like. I will be on. I will tell you like a pretty blunt statement. We have Jake and Scott Hall alive thanks to Dallas Page. I will say that because
that's
this
awesome.
guy were able to like help them, give them back their confidence, and we were able to enjoy. And also they've been able to be part of the Hall of Fame in WWE because those guys paved the way for everybody else. You know, like you did. You paved the way for all this new generation of guys that pretty much are entertainers and they're kind of like doing wrestling in a different light now. You know, they're trying to be different, and at the same time that they give you like the whole package. They can talk. They're like their wrestling ability is good. So like you guys paved the way. But thanks to Diamond Dallas Page and his yoga, we can say we have Scott Hall and Jake the Snake alive.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like he's like I'll put into Jake's words. You know, he's like an angel, and he's like an ugly angel. But he's an angel. That's what Jake would talk about him. You know, but yeah, he's still helping people, man. It's matter of fact, he's doing a thing now where he's doing the yoga online workout programs, and he's giving a portion of the money to Cauliflower Alley Club. If you guys were familiar with those guys,
Yeah,
I go there
yeah.
once a year, and it's almost like it's a legit Hall of Fame of wrestlers
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
together.
yeah.
So and then Las Vegas once a year. So which I'm planning on going to September once again. When the world opens back up again. So
Yeah,
Well, hopefully that
hopefully by
happens.
then we're the,
Yeah,
yeah.
we were. Yeah,
right, yeah.
fingers crossed on that. Fingers crossed. So now then, Papa, let me tell me now that like we talk about your career. We went through like all this great conversation. Your current take on the product. What does Papa like? Do you like NXT? Do you like Impact? Do you like main roster Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, AEW? What is like in your own concept like the best company?
Well, honestly, I appreciate all of them in their own way for keeping the business alive for the guys and gals and the family involved. In New Japan as well,
Oh yeah.
doing their thing. Um, I just hope it keeps growing and have more, more companies evolve and make more places for the fans to enjoy, for the wrestlers to hone their craft. And I'm a big NXT fan. I take NXT is amazing to me. I mean, some of the most hungry guys and gals in the business you ever see on television. And but I like each one in their own retrospect for what they provide the audience, and because it's great to because each one has their own take on things and have their own aura and personality. So I mean, I really couldn't pinpoint just one that I enjoy the most, because I think each one provides something a little different for everybody. Because I mean, variety is the spice of life, and so should wrestling have that variety for the variety of fan, right? So that's what makes our business unique.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't say it any better. Some people go, "Oh, I don't like Raw. I don't like SmackDown. They're too simple. They're too maybe childish, you could say." And it's like, well, there you go. That's, hey, children want to watch wrestling, and maybe they can't grasp the concept storylines like of an NXT or a New Japan or something. So it's like, hey, we're gonna watch that, and then people who are more into it can watch AEW, NXT. Like you said, there's something for everybody, and that's what
Right.
like a lot of people don't understand. I feel like they want it all to be for them. And it's like, it doesn't really work like that.
No, no, and thing that I was taught in the business as well, a lot of us back in the day, was never insult your audience, because I mean, your audience is your bread and butter. You know what I mean? And not just in wrestling, but in life itself. If you're out there promoting a film, if you're out there promoting a match or promoting a product, if you will, you always want respect and appreciate your audience, and you never want to divide your audience per se. You know what I mean? You never want to have them butt heads. You always want to have everybody on the same level with you and appreciate what you're providing for them, no matter who they are. So always respect, always have that interaction, that connection with your audience, man.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. And even if you're just looking at it from maybe a black or white picture where it's like, hey, your audience is the one that gives you the money. So it's like, hey, why would you want
That's
to,
it.
why would you want to make them mad? Because then your pockets are going to feel pretty empty. So, like you
Yeah,
said, you always
one
got to
ties
listen
in
to
with
the
the other,
audience.
right?
Exactly.
One feeds
Exactly.
out of the other. Absolutely, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So, Papa, now tell me, like, okay, we're gonna talk about. We already did the wrestling part and everything. Now let's talk about the acting. So, like, you're like again another versatile person. A lot of skills. Not just one dimension. So you were in some a few episodes of One Tree Hill.
Yes, One Tree Hill. Back in the day, I was Sleepy Hollow on Fox.
Yes.
Um, Secrets and Lies in ABC. Good Behavior.
Indie Wrestler, I saw that film also.
Indie Wrestler, yeah. Uh, Good Behavior on TNT.
How is that, like, like, tell me a little bit about, like, see, like, the acting, like, did wrestling help you to transition to acting?
Yeah, actually, because some of the directors were like big wrestling fans, right? Matter of fact, I got on this movie called 12/24. It's a horror movie. He was a big wrestling fan, and I got the role of this crazy truck driver who was killing people, and I studied Matthew McConaughey's role as the crazy truck driver killing people from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes,
because our roles are pretty similar. So, so I studied Matthew McConaughey's role for that. So, which is not pretty cool. So, and even to this day, some of the roles I get were just tie-ins from the directors who were like producers who were big wrestling fans and knew I'd be right for the role. And currently, I'm in a Supernatural series now. We're going to be on set pretty soon for a fourth season called the Dust series, which is now on Avail TV, which is syndicated to Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire.
Okay.
Which I star as the Chief, who's like the modern day Grim Reaper, if you will. It's like vampires, werewolves, all kinds of supernatural phenomena.
Okay.
Of course, we all can't get along. There's always some drama going on, but the Chief's character is very dark, ominous, very much an antagonist, and yeah, real throwback to the old school villains.
Now,
horror,
would
right?
you say there's some papastro in there, or maybe there's some chief in the papastro? Would you say it kind of, because like you said, wrestling and acting, it's not, you don't want to call wrestling an act, but I mean, like with the characters and the way like you control your audience, it all ties in, like you said earlier, and you've been saying throughout the whole interview, it's all connected. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you can, maybe flesh out your character, and hey, what you do on this show can help you here, or vice versa. Hey,
Yeah,
why not?
that's it. And, you could say the Chief is kind of a little bit of everything rolled up in one, right? And it's kind of like a throwback to the Tall Man from Phantasm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
that's awesome. See, that's awesome. And see, and I feel that, like, you're gonna be really successful at it. So we will be keeping an eye for it. Like, once the world opens, like you said, hopefully pretty soon. So we keep like knocking on. I think this is wood. Yeah, and we keep knocking on wood. So
I got another film I'm working on too. Actually,
yeah.
we'll be doing table reads for. We're going to be on set for soon. It's called The Devil's Daughter, which is a Harlequin origin story.
Wow.
Which I will be portraying the role of Dr. Jeremy Arkham.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking about Batman.
Yep.
Dr. Arkham.
No, that's
So
awesome.
so you're telling us that
I'll definitely be checking out.
When you're telling us that when the film comes out, then you're gonna go back to our show, right, to promote the movie this time,
Absolutely.
Right?
And I got another horror movie coming out. If not by the end of this year, beginning of next year, depending on how things go, the world, right? Matter of fact, I just completed my scenes in that right before this happened. It's called Stench of Iniquity, which is a horror film, and which I will be portraying an ancient vampire known as Abba.
Abba, like,
Yeah.
like the band, like the Swedish band.
Sort of similar, except the B's are split in between when you like spell it out, Abba. Right?
Okay,
So.
I got you. I think Abba means father. I think in a ring in the tongue that Jesus used to speak. I think that's why.
Yeah, because Abba is he's like an ancient vampire, like even before Dracula, almost biblical times.
Yeah, so I think Abba means like I think it's father, if I'm not mistaken. But so like you have a lot going on, and on top of that, you also like are part of like the BOC Nation. You're a feature. You have your own show, WCW Retro. So talk to me about that. How did that came about, and like what you guys like try to do every single show in there? I've heard it, but I want the audience to know.
Well, I was talking to Brady Hicks at the time of BOCNation.com, and he
Shout out to Brady.
Hi, Brady. Love you, bro. He came up with the concept about having a WCW Retro show, with some nostalgia, talking about stories from back in the day and everything. And so I was like, and asked was I'd be a part of it. Yeah, sure. So I started off actually being one of the co-hosts with the two other guys, but Turned out the other guys had other things they had to do, right, sort of thing. So I ended up being the sole host of the show, and it's been great because we took a little bit of news. We talked about like old school matches, some of the old matches we enjoyed back in the day. Then we have a segment called Dream Matches where we put an old school star against one of the stars of the day, like a dream match situation, and just like a lot of nostalgia, kind of bringing great memories back in the day for the business. And we got people that call in, that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Good, good. I've heard, I've listened to it a few times, and it is like a really fun, like the old school mentality, and I like the dream match, like how you guys can do that. We should do that right now.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
get
So
like
yeah,
you.
everybody loves like nostalgia, reminiscing, all that stuff. Talking about, especially because like when you think of your childhood or whenever, you always think good times. So it's a great show to definitely listen to, call in on. But yeah, so like dream matches, kind of segueing in off of that. You wrestled a lot of people, like you said, Jerry Lawler's, the Flairs, all these legends. You met Dusty, the Snake. Who was a guy who you didn't wrestle that you were like, oh man, that would have been a dream match?
Oh man. There's a few left, I guess, on the bucket list per se, because some of the guys you just mentioned, I've been in the ring with like Bobby Eaton, who I remember Steve Curran saying, pound for pound, one of the best in the business, hands down, which I totally agree. It's just from being in the ring with Bobby quite a few times. Ricky Steamboat, which was incredible. I mean, those guys, like Steamboat and Eaton, made wrestling art for him. I mean, it was so smooth and
Oh yeah.
incredible. I would say one of the few guys I haven't been ring on with. I don't know if I ever will, but it would be nice to would be Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's like definitely would be the guy I would love to be in the ring with, because just being a brother to Matt per se with amateur wrestling, collegiate wrestling, I really have a deep respect for what he's done for his career and for the business, and how he transcended from collegiate wrestling to professional wrestling and all the accomplishments he's done. And it's once again, it's one of those amazing Olympic athletes that have always fascinated me, and I just would have loved to test my skills with one of a Kurt Angle. So it's just it'd be amazing to me anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I think that'd be awesome. Kurt Angle to me is one of my all-time favorites, and I think, like you said, especially because he always, if there's somebody who wrestled, like you said, collegiately or anything like that, amateur wrestling, he could like sense that, and he always wanted to put hands on you. It's like, oh, let's go, let's see, because he had that competitive fire, and I think you guys would have brought that out in each other, and it would have been great.
Oh yeah, great stuff. Because you know I've been really blessed to have worked and wrestled with some great people, but definitely he would be at the top of the list that I haven't. I would love to step in the ring with. Matter
So
of fact, go
that
ahead.
will be
Sorry.
your dream match. That will be your dream match. But let's say for now the current rosters, who will you pick in the current rosters of all the world? What is, according to you, the guy that you will like man, I would love to have a feud with him, and then that having a match in like a pay-per-view, and we will be making money, baby.
Randy Orton definitely would be one of the tops. I've always had a deep respect for Randy Orton, even to this day. The fact that he gets it about the business, he understands. You don't see him do anything too crazy or outrageous, but his psychology is just off the charts. Randy Orton says, and I mean, the match he had with Edge at WrestleMania was just wow.
Oh yeah,
That was
like we said,
that
they,
was different.
you're into acting, so like let's kind of want to ask your opinion. Do you like those more cinematic matches? We actually enjoyed them. There's a lot of people, fans and stuff, who were like, "Ooh, I didn't like the Boneyard. I didn't like Last Man Standing. I didn't like Cena versus the Fiend. This and that." We liked it because it's like it's something different. WrestleMania has always been like a show, a spectacle, and when you add the cinematic, sometimes you can convey the emotions a lot more.
I don't think Undertaker should ever step in the ring ever again. I think he should just do cinematic movies and just film from now on, because he was amazing. I mean, he was larger than life.
Oh yeah, the way they presented
That deal with him and AJ, oh my gosh, that was, to me, that stole the show, man. That Boneyard match,
Definitely.
wow.
So, but yeah, so you will say like that could be potentially the future of professional wrestling, these cinematic matches, or you just will be something that you resource to it when there's like these situations like a pandemic. What's your take on that?
I don't think everybody should be doing those. Only a certain few should be involved. The ones like an Undertaker, like an AJ, for example, maybe a Bray Wyatt. and that sort of somebody that you could see that can be that characters, the larger life characters, I believe would make great cinematic matches, more or less. But not, I don't think everybody should do it, just certain ones, because
Yeah,
there's only a certain group of people that can really make those cinematic segments stand out, if you know what I mean.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
because otherwise it would almost you're watching and you're like, well, why am I like what is like this? It doesn't call for it, and if it doesn't call for it, and it doesn't make sense, like we said earlier. It's all about the story. If the story ain't calling for it, why are you doing it? Because then everybody's just gonna be like, I don't know what's going on. They're gonna be confused, and you know, like you say, you want to connect to the audience. If you're not connecting, not drawing money. So
You can do anything in the world, all the fancy moves in the world, and what have you. But if you don't have that connection with the audience, man, you'll never work.
yep,
We
So
need each
that
other.
takes me, see, that takes me to like something like a question that Paul and I do a lot of reviews and everything. So we talk about like there's been a lot of wrestlers, so we're asking, of course, you. We want to like less is more. Tell me like
Yes,
what is that so important? You know, like there's is a phrase that like still kind of boggles my mind is like why less is more, in your own opinion.
Jake Roberts so instilled that in my head. That's probably going back to the question you were saying was one of the greatest lessons
The
he
advice, yes.
instilled in. Less is more, because I mean, he sh- he showed how like little things may speak volumes. The way you talk, the way you lock up, the way you step into somebody, the way you deliver your speech, little things, because little things like that can bring a match from here to here, from a speech from here to here, the way you present yourself from here to here. I mean, I can't stress enough how important that is. And for the young people breaking into the businesses today, no matter what style you can have any style you want, but you have the right psychology behind it. If you make those little things speak volumes, then it'll just bring out the best in your game. Because you want to have a lot of times your audience, you can do you can go 100 miles per hour and would lose them. But if you tone it down to where they can easily understand everything you do and follow you, that's what you want. You want to have everyone to follow your every move, because the more accessible they have to follow what you do, then they'll be with you. They'll be behind you. Just like, hey, I get it. I can understand how he or she gone from A to B, and that sort of thing. So
oh yeah, exactly. Like you said, you know, you and RVD had that amazing match, and you guys were like shot out of a cannon, and you're like, all right, this is awesome. And then Jake, you said he don't even do 60% of what you do, but he had him
no,
eating out of his hand because it's like less is more. I know how to control them.
that's it. It's
I know when
amazing.
you like step it, like speed it up. I know when like to really like put the gas pedal and yeah, go for it. Yeah,
And
makes
when you have that emotional connection, like we talked about earlier, with your audience, I mean, that's true power, man.
Oh, definitely.
Because that's a connection like no other. Just like a relationship, if you don't have the chemistry, you don't have the connection, it'll never work.
yeah, it's absolutely the truth. So there you go for like our audience that like relationship tip right there, the connection. That's all like that's what it's all about. So now like we touch I think everything with you, Papa. So tell me about Papa outside of like the acting, outside of the ring. Like you as just a regular human being. What do you like? Hobbies? Tell me a little bit about you outside of like your endeavors. Let's say.
Oh gosh, I love actually. In case you can't get the hint by now, I love watching movies and film. Right, big movie buff. I got my animals, Sparky. I got my shepherds, Major and Trooper. Who I've been taking walks with. I just I go for long walks. I like the beach, like to travel, like mountains, and uh, just I like meeting people and just helping people doing charities. I've out with schools with the DARE program and like Children's Miracle Network. I love those guys as well, and St. Jude's. Just doing my part to help giving back to the community. With them, the Chamber of Commerce, one of the ambassadors, Chamber of Commerce, helping them out with like small businesses and that sort of thing. And I do seminars as well to helping other people out. So I just kind of like give back, if you will. I like giving back to community, helping people like when I can, because like I said, I had some great people through the years to help me, and I just want to do my part and to see people do well, not only just in wrestling, but just in life in general. Because there's some people out there that they they need help, and they deal with all kinds of like mental issues and that sort of thing, and really someone could be smiling at you, but you really don't know what they're going through, right? Deep down, they could be like hurting and deep inside, and I'm one, I'm guilty of this too. I'm bad about keeping things bottled up inside at times, and it's not really good. So you got to have that vessel to let out your problems and to help people, release their pain, because and then you release their pain, then they'll start to feel better and say, hey, this helped me, so I can help someone else that has the same problem. You know what I mean? So I think it's really good that we kind of help people like when we can, because we all need each other in this life. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, there's plenty of things out there that try to divide us, but if you step back and look at the big picture of things, we're on the same planet together, doing what we do, and we need each other to survive and to live. And to do that, we need to help one another and bring out the best in each other and make life good for each one of us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you say, I mean, first off, let me just say, hell of a human being, one of the most legit people I ever had the pleasure of speaking to right here, Papastro. But like everything that you said is legit. It's one of those things where if you're just negative, the world is going to beat you down. We don't need to beat each other down. So let's just help build each other up. And like I said, to me, that's a legit mindset, an awesome way of thinking. We definitely need more people like you and, helping people, because, hey, give advice to somebody, they give it to somebody else, it spreads. That's the one thing we want to spread right now, advice, not anything else. But
right.
Well,
we need each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what he just said, I'm just going to reiterate, like, you are a hell of a human being, the opportunity that you've given us to just talk to you, talk about, like, all your memories in wrestling, just give us a chance, and especially, like, to just mention that, like, I will say, like, my mom always said, like, you always smile to people, try to be nice to them, because you don't know what they're going through. We see the
family,
face, but
not
we don't see
necessarily
what's
is
in
blood,
their
you know what I
eyes.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's amazing that like you have that in you to also reach out, give back to the community,
Yeah, an
like help
extreme,
them
like,
out.
humanitarian, you could
Yeah,
say.
you're
Yeah.
trying to be a good influence in the society. You're trying to be the solution and not being part of the problem. So that's absolutely outstanding,
Thank
outstanding
you.
in your.
Just doing my
Yeah,
part, man.
oh yeah, well, and again, like, it's amazing, and like that's the beauty of professional wrestling. That's what I always say, that we can get to
Mm-hmm.
meet people like you that, of course, they entertain us, but at the same time, you're teaching us something. Besides the entertainment, you are
That's
teaching
it,
us
man.
something. So that's absolutely great. So now this is the time that like we give you the floor to shout out anybody that you want. That we give you, like if you want to plug in your information, anything, the floor is yours. We just like we're right here like just as viewers right now. Whoever you want to say hi, whatever, the floor is yours.
Well, I'll just go ahead. I'll do my plugs, and then I'll say, hi, do my
However
highs
you
and
want.
do my shout outs.
Your floor right here.
um, okay, my official website is thestro.com, thestro.com, for all the latest on TV, wrestling, film, and merchandise. Just click on the respected links. And I got cool merchandise for all ages, including pets. I'm on Facebook at Stro the Maestro, Twitter at @Stro, Instagram at stromaestro. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/stromaestro. I'm also on Patreon, which I'm working on, getting better on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/papastro. Dust series, of course, I mentioned you can watch on the Veil TV, syndicated through Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Also, check out the podcast WCW Retro every Thursday night at 9 on vocnation.com.
We'll be
Also,
calling this Thursday. You can
oh, I
know
can't
that.
wait, man. Shout out to Brady Hicks, my co-host of In the Room, every Tuesday night at 9 on vocnation.com. Brady Hicks, Kathy Fitzpatrick, Derek McDonald, Matt Grimm, and myself.
Give me just between Paul and I, just give us like, yeah, give me like your best memory in wrestling, and give me like, I want to say not such, I want to ask you like for a sad memory, but like for example like a memory you're not like, let's say it didn't come out the way I wanted to. Give me like your best memory, and then one that like
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Best memory. Can I tell you a funny one?
of course
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. This is This was a San Francisco, the Cow Palace, with Uncle Terry Funk, right? And I call him Uncle because I told him I was going to adopt him to Uncle because I just love the guy so much. So I've been calling him Uncle Terry ever since. But I'm waiting to do my promo on Ernest the Cat Miller, right? We're doing promos during the day to set up, hype up for the show that night. So I'm sitting there drinking my water bottle, and Terry Funk's going to do his on Ric Flair. He had a match with Ric Flair that night, and Dustin Rhodes was, the sidekick, right? And they hit his trash bag in his hand, and Terry, they kept asking Terry, what was in the trash bag, and then Terry kept giving everybody the same response. It's like, I'm saving it for the interview, right? So the cameraman starts taping. He reaches into this trash bag, pulls up this dead chicken, rancid dead chicken, supposedly from his ranch in Texas. I don't know how they got the darn thing on the plane, right? So he sticks this chicken next to the camera and says, you see this chicken? I shall now compare its anatomy to that of one Ric Flair. See these skinny legs? These are the legs of Ric Flair. See this beak? This is the schnoz of Ric Flair. And I'm going to take Ric Flair by the neck. And he's grabbing the chicken as he's saying this, right? And I'm going to whip him like the dog that he is. His feathers flying everywhere, right? Dustin collapses laughing, right? I spit up my water bottle. The whole joint is like howling laughing, right? Later on that night, I get back to the hotel, which they put us up a real nice place there in San Fran. And the bellboy, he's running around the parking lot with the same trash bag that Terry Funk had in his hand earlier, right? So I was curious. So I walk up to him and say, hey, kid, what's going on? Are you all right? And he says, some old man gave me this dead chicken, and I don't know what to do with it. It was Terry Funk.
Yeah, I love it. Like, someone who has no clue what this is. It's just like some crazy old guy gave me this dead chicken. Like, what do I do? And you're like,
Yeah.
Because you don't know who he is. That's what you think. It's
Terry
like,
Funk is like, Terry Funk was so awesome. Like,
oh yeah.
He's such a great like character. Like as a person. I mean, such a great person. Like, and I'm hearing that like he still wants to go. Like he still wants to have matches and everything.
Yeah.
He's awesome though.
Oh, he's loving, man.
Those are the kind of guys that is like, I never use this expression, but like, don't ever die. Do me a favor, don't ever die. When you do, it's like the world is going to be a sad place, but it's don't ever die. So now, the other type of memory. There you go.
Oh, my God. I don't think I've had too many sad memories.
Not even a sad one. Not a memory that's like, maybe it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Let's not be sad. Road break is about fun. And I think that's about positivity.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll tell you this one. This was another.
Do more stories though.
This is actually a Christmas party with the midget wrestlers, micro wrestlers, right? I'm playing Santa Claus, right? And I'm in the back seat, and the other guys are driving me, right? The elves were driving me, and they see a police officer pull up behind them, right? So they're pulling the car over. As they're pulling the car over, they're like huddling, trying to huddle up for what we're going to do, right? So, and I'm sitting in the back there, he's like, uh-oh. And I still had my Santa suit on and everything, right? As soon as they pull over, right, they run out of the car, holding their butts, saying, fire ants, right? And the officer's like freaking out, what's going on? And he doesn't see me yet. I'm still in the back seat, right? So I come out of the back seat, and I come to the officer, and I says, is there a problem, officer? And he looks around, and he looks at me, and I swear to you, he goes, Santa? and you know I gotta work this, man. I can really milk it, right? So I'm going, you got to decide, Mr. Officer, Santa Claus. How may I help you tonight, right? And he tells me he's wanting to get this transistor radio for his son. And it just so happens I have that same radio in my bag of toys from the party in the back seat. So I get the radio out of the bag and I give it to him and said, here you go, Mr. Officer. Have a Merry Christmas, ho-ho, right? And he looks up at me and goes, thank you, Santa. And he takes his squad car, takes off down the road. and and all the elves looked at me like, "Does this happen, right?" I was like, "Okay, let's send and take you guys home." So I ended up driving the elves home after that. So true story.
That's it. You know that like that's one of those things you can't even make up.
No,
Like, you gotta like live like that's one of those. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Then no, I mean,
Absolutely.
and how could you arrest Santa? Like, what are you gonna do? Have Santa handcuffed, take him in? Like, how are you gonna look? No, he
And
couldn't
what
do that. He'd be buried.
and,
His,
and what was the
his career
likelihood?
would be over.
What was the likelihood that he will have the transistor radio? And then it's like,
oh my God!
and then it's
I
like,
still, he actually thought it was Santa Claus. That was the funny part.
like they want Santa.
Yeah, blew my mind. Give a shout out, if you will, to everyone that's listening on the show here, to all the fans, friends, and family that's been with me through thick and thin through the years, the ups and downs. To say thank you, not only for supporting myself, but the pro wrestling industry and doing all we do, because you guys mean the world to us. I know you probably don't hear it as often as you should, but without you guys' support and love, passion for the business, we couldn't do what we do. There's no way. And just like Arn Anderson said one time, we're all intertwined together in the wrestling business and life and everything else, and we need each other to make everything work. So don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop believing not only in us but in yourself, because without your support and love, without you just being here doing what you do, and just being who you are, then we couldn't do what we do. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like you're just struck out on life and everything, just know that somebody out there loves you, cares about you, and appreciates you for who you are. And that only coincides, like I said, with wrestling, but in life itself. So you are awesome. You're somebody. You always will be. And thank you all so much for your support. I love you all very much.
I don't think you know what. You know what. I don't think we'll ever have a better closing message than that. So, like
I don't
any
think
other
so.
future interview, sorry, but hey,
I don't think so. I don't think
Nope.
so. That was it. That was it. All right, Papa. We want to thank you from the bottom of my
Yep.
heart.
Thank you so
for
much.
all your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you,
You know,
guys.
like this interview, aside of the wrestling, it's just been so fulfilling because people like you that like are so positive that make us see that there's always light at the end of the road. It doesn't matter what you're going through. There's always hope. And that's what
Absolutely.
human beings can do for each other. Bring the hope and lift them up, like Paul was saying. So that's my outtake on this. Of course, thank you for like all the experiences. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you on our show.
Thank you.
Invitation is always open. So anytime you want to be on, hey, just be like, guys, I want to be on. We will always you'll be
definitely.
welcome here.
Definitely.
Anytime you guys want, I can't wait to do this again. It's such a blast.
Yeah, like we need like part 3 because we're gonna do a whole like sessions with you
Fantastic.
because it's all like like all your like memories, stories about all this beauty that is professional wrestling. So thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. Please check the BOC Nation WCW Retro with the Papa right here. For most than anything, fulfilling positive stories. That's what we all as human beings need. Let's hope that this is like we're gonna go through this, guys. Like always say, then if there's ever a moment that I enjoy the new day, is just the power of positivity. I don't enjoy the pancakes that much, but at least the positivity is, So Jean Paul, where they can find us on the social media.
And we're gonna have, of course, like always, all the social media links, not just for us, but for Stro as well. All them in the video description. But we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the original Rope Break for Facebook and Instagram, also the original Rope Break here on YouTube, and then the OG Rope Break on Twitter. So follow us there, and especially on YouTube, make sure you click that bell because you're gonna want to see this amazing interview as soon as it's uploaded.
And subscribe to also Papa's channel.
Yep, like we say with all the interviews, you guys got a lot of clicking to do, but we know you're up to it. You're not working, so them hands are good. So click subscribe, follow, like, all that stuff.
Only a
all
click
these
away,
links.
people.
Yep.
That's all it is. All right. So, Jean Paul, you and me, thank you so very much, Papa Stro.
Yep.
You and me
Thank you again.
have
Thank you, guys.
one thing left to say, and that is...